Is it on? I'm just gonna guess it's on recording all this. Hello to whoever's hearing this. This is coming at you straight from the old lab at Sans' house in Snowden. Yeah, I have no idea how to start this out. You think you should have labbed it more before going in? Is that a pun? Maybe. Maybe it was a test to see if you were listening. Right. Fine, man. Anyway. Right now, it is my job to catch you up as to what's happened so far in the story. Kid? I don't mean to be fierce when I say this. What story are you talking about? You know, the ongoing lore of the Multiversal Descendants. Are you okay? Okay, we're still at the window in Universe 70 Sands. Back on track. Let's start at the beginning. How many of these books do you have enough to fill a library? Back in Universe 69, it was the fated meeting of me, the Commodore of that universe, and the death of that universe that really kicked everything into place. In that battle with me and Commodore teaming up to try and fight death itself, I ended up getting my soul stolen and thus gained immortality. Hold on. You gained immortality right off the bat. No working towards it, just right then and there because of trying to fight a concept. Pacing was that good at the start. It gets better though, I think. Anyways, me and Kamino ended up defending death on the same day. She made me new coats since the old one got turned to ashes in the fight, and a total of 2 weeks was spent with me in isolation, training and working on new weapons. A couple weeks passed, I ended up befriending Spider-Man, Kamino ends up becoming a Saiyan despite not being born one, and we just met up with some guy called Shadow. And then, I learned who Spider-Man really was. Ooh, who was he? She? It? Man, he was in 2024. Confusing the terms. And that being my friend Alex. Which, now that I think about it, explains a lot on why he was always gone for so long. Okay, hold on. Stop for a second. As a patient skeleton myself, I understand that the story's long. This is a recap, kiddo, not an exposition. Try to sum it up, okay? Okay, so me and Alex went to the lab to get his phone since he accidentally left that phone behind while doing some Spider-Man stuff. We ended up running into some people along the way that claimed the lab, but then the lab was sold to Commodore as a shadow guy from before, ended up starting an organization called Organization Rogue. Since around the same time, the devils who were like demons, but their strength depends on the fear factor that they're tied to instead of their reputation in house. Anyway, we get contracted to go devil hunting, and while doing so, I managed to find multiple weapons that get gifted something called the Omnitrix from another guy called Moxie, who told me a technique called Royal Guard that can block any damage to an enemy by physically dispersing the very molecules of reality in front of me, then formed temporarily and replacing them with air from my own breath so I can store those attack molecules for later. A multi-scale operation is then formed to infiltrate the Ink Devil's lair, in which me, Commodore Moxie, and a companion named Trident, Alex, and Shadow managed to do way too easily. I get jumped by the Ink Demon himself, and the rest of the thing turns out to be a dream, since apparently they found nothing there, but I just blacked out randomly. I couldn't move through the film reel, being ingrained into my skull, and to act as a playback of what I was hallucinating about. Are you getting this one? Good, because I'm not stopping. Eventually, I wake up to Alex splashing water in my face. We go to the pizzeria, as he tells me he made a contract with the Ink Devil to give me another perspective on life instead of just aim to kill, which leads to me making adjustments to my arsenal of weaponry to fit a more pacifist style rather than a lethal one. I managed to find a master sword while also finding the Judgment of Shamash and Penumbra, so that's the legendary weapons of one. I try to be more helpful to Alex while he's being Spider-Man, and this leads to me becoming another Spider-Man called Arcane. Black parasites called symbiotes nearly take over the entirety of New York, but I stop thinks that Alex is disrupting their connection to people with a massive speaker, and me flinging myself into the air as far as I possibly could, as Shadow and Commodore launched special pin particles towards me to enlarge a katana known as the Yamada to have it grow immensely and separate the symbiotes from the population via the largest judgment cut in existence. Then the main team ends up encountering a woman called Alpha, who I might still be slightly I'm sorry, I'm saying a lot. traumatized from, because out of all the people I faced until that point, she was the only one that I couldn't be, which led to me training in private and recording the fights so I could study her fighting style and use any openings to my advantage. Virtual took my powers of electricity that left me with the things in my blood rather than my soul. I ended up unlocking a new form called Devil Trigger, which I still have access to, but I just don't use it because transforming into it, with how powerful I am now, could potentially break the universe itself. Time goes on as I start to steal Tony Stark's tech. Don't ask. He comes after me and tries to get it back. I create an AI called Lowbwit before he could. Soul Stone equals Snatch, just like how the second fight against Alpha ended up with me getting my ego snatched harder than Vegeta in the first Dragon Ball Broly movie. More training. I broke the Master Sword while trying to steal Shamash. Unleash the ancient curse within. The person I'm working for, called Rogue, makes a deal to keep that curse within me and not have it take control. Suddenly, everything's falling apart as Alex gains a massive form called a Titan while also becoming the Chainsaw Devil and Cosmic Spider-Man. And this is all because he didn't think he could keep up with how powerful everyone is. But so sorry. It's okay, take your time. How powerful everyone else is getting. A showdown between me, Virgil, and Alpha happens, and with me and Alpha defeating Virgil and going our separate ways. Virgil ends up being Commodore. A cult tries to revive an ancient god, but this just so happens to make the Ink Demon angry. Alex and I try to take it down. God of Mischief Loki appears. The fierce deity takes control despite the contract. Three gods battle it out. I regain control as Bendy goes down and Alex catches up to where I am. Me and him double team Loki while pulling out all the stops, which ends up with us semi-beating him. Then the same cult tries to revive the same god again and fail, but create these things called alternates. I lose my immortality, but Shadow takes down the core in the sea while I take out the one in space, and Kamino and takes out the one in the wild, which these cores are the things that will keep the alternates alive in that universe, by the way. Portal opens up, and Miguel O'Hara says that my existence was an accident. I go to the future as I follow him and yoink 2 more Ultra Matrix for me and Alex. Same cult, same god, success. Reality is being torn apart as I find out that Alpha and I are related through blood, which gives me so much guilt for not realizing sooner, and my wishes to go and tell my newfound sister that I would try to be there for her more are interrupted by as Cosmic Spider-Man tries to reset the entire universe. Shadow turns out to be a rogue. He keeps yoinking my stuff like Lobin and the Omnitrix, anything powerful that I have on me, but then forgets to check my pockets as I pull out the second Ultra Matrix, do you forgot to check my pockets, fuck-a-woo, and then use Celestial Sapient DNA to transform into Alien X and strike a deal with the 2 voices in there for full control, since they both think it's the end and don't see why not. I save half the universe and manage to make that the blueprints for the next universe by accident, and then the entire universe goes down with me desperately calling out to the Master Sword and facing off against the fierce deity in our final battle, where I win. I don't know what happened there, but I win and survive while also absorbing the fierce deity's power to become the new fierce deity, regain immortality because of screwing with Yggdrasil, and I need to catch my breath. Hold on a second. Dude, I said recap, not speed up. So, Universe 69 aside, I meet up with the Multiversal Descendants in between the universes, and they have me take the place of their cake due to the power I've gained. Bunch of cool people because Commodore ended up being on the council as well. Like, the guy from our universe that I follow on, he ended up being there as well. He was really nice. He introduced me to people like the Undying Flame, Rudia, and my wife, Isvara. Isvara and I get along far better than expected. Undying and I end up becoming work friends. Commodore gets too busy when he's promoted to being the Watcher to hang out. Rudy and I have the silent agreement that we're close but not close at the same time. We're teammates but not mates. But beyond all that, a version of Moxie called Sinister makes it to Universe 70 before the other Descendants could, so the closest nearby force the attention of the Watcher from Universe 70 to 71 so he could deal with Sinister. You don't have to continue if you don't want to, man. No. People need to know what happened. The ones closest by were me, Rudy, and Isvara. Despite our warnings to her, Isvara thought Sinister could be redeemed. Rudy was right to be on guard, because right when we thought her innate ability to mentally redeem anyone would have worked on Sinister, he turned around and stabbed her in the back. Rudia lost in a rampage against Sinister while tried to give his Vara my immortality since my time to go was long and overdue, but she denied it. She gave me a ring and tried to marry me while she was dying. I accepted it and the light faded from her eyes as the smile on her face grew weak, thus led to me discovering just how powerful the fierce deity was. Kid? My mind grew blank as I slammed the moon into Sinister, and kept trying to slash him in half with my blade as Rudia did the same in her fit of rage. We were so close to just finishing him right then and there. We had them right where we wanted him! But due to how he scales based off negative feelings, we only made it worse. He escaped. Rudia couldn't hold on to her sanity, so she left to the next universe in a hurry for my own safety. I went back to the council, and the punishment I was given was to tie my life force to a Yggdrasil so I could live until I learned from my mistake and improved. But Redgraves never learned. I stayed in the fragments of Universe 70 for around 14 million years-ish before going back to Universe 69 and trying to repair it for 999,978 years, while also growing in power myself. When I thought I was ready, I headed to Universe 71 in search of Rudia so we could prepare to face Sinister together. Since Loki was alive in that year, she banished me to the inside of the moon and took my place in Loki's contract, so he wouldn't have to worry about Loki throwing the moon at the Earth when he got bored. No matter how hard I tried to help her, she just kept pushing me away. Everything in Universe 71 got worse. The cake of that universe ended up dying before he could meet his friends, and surprisingly the cake of Universe 70 took his place, memories and all. Hershey's ended up becoming a thing. Sinister gained alloys like Kuruma and Restriction. I met up with Undying again, who ended up not going insane like Rudia did, so thank the Watcher, yeah, he remained sane. I took in Kiana and Jason Voorhees of that universe as my own kin, since they had nowhere else to go, and I felt like I could relate to them, and maybe that could team them and help them, I don't know. Rudy eventually died and reincarnated into someone named Cece, which immediately got the Isvar of that universe named Yumi and the Standing Cake to adopt her. The Moxie of that universe felt entitled to take care of Cece, and any attempt for me to take her in and make sure Rudia's new life was filled with happiness and safety was denied like I was some monster. Every time I tried to explain myself was just met with deaf ears and a hand to the face. So I tried talking to Wukong on his mount for advice. Huh? Kiddo. You and the Monkey King. You... I thought that was a myth, a Chinese legend. I get it. You might be a little insane from everything that's happened, but this is no time to monkey around. Well, we're both immortal, both masters of ancient techniques, and got bounded by gods in the daily, and both have a laid-back and cocky personality. Of course we got... Well... Sorry. Of course, we got... to be friends. It was like college friends, you know? Like two disabled people meeting up, and realizing that they're more similar than they thought. But anyways, Sinister came back and I fought him for 5 years straight without stopping in an attempt to save the Earth. Rudia killed the Cake of Universe 70 twice, and their group ended up on an alternate version of Earth at accelerated time. And then there was the thing Sinister left behind. Those alternates in the infection. Nearly as immortal as me, but they're snapping like twigs to kill people. There's so many of them. So many. They took on the forms of people who had memories on Earth. Do you know what that's like, Sans? You know what it's like to have your own wife, or the image of her and her body and her voice try to kill you, knowing that she died long ago, but she's right there. She's right there. It's not her, but you know, somewhere deep down, it has to be. Anyway, moving on. I found an alternate voodoo and knocked it out, giving its equipment to Cece so that she could protect herself and have something else to wear besides just a skirt and soldier gear. Took the alternate back to the moon to interrogate it while Kiana kept going back to Earth through the warp channel and screwed her stuff. Sinister came back again and made everything between me and Voodoo worse. The main cast got the Dragon Balls and wished for Cece to remember what happened in the entirety of Voodoo's life, effectively killing the spirit of Cece. Bring back Voodoo in her place. They all have this big dramatic fight that ends with something happening to split the time. I don't know. My clairvoyance cut off near the end. I think it was because of how insane Voodoo was getting. Her powers keep scaling. Someone else there just kept scaling alongside her. Too much. Anyway. Something from beyond that universe ends up sniping the moon and blows it up. So I'm guessing what happened next was you sealing yourself in that blade, ending up in this universe, and then the rest is history? Yep. That's the basic recap. Right now, I managed to get back enough matter to uphold a humanoid form, but if I go and try to seal Wukong, I need help. That's why I asked Azazel and Undying. And then there's also me needing to attract attention of the Watchers so that I can get my hand back and fully restore my mana circuits. And there's also Voodoo I have to worry about, and this guy called the Magic Man who's been universe hopping like crazy. It's a lot on my plate. Don't worry, bud. I'm sure your deities will be fulfilled quickly. Eh? Eh?